$9,000 Kia Forte, 21% interest, and $415 a month.
It's crazy to me. People are driving around with $700 car payments.
Kind of one of the dumbest debts you can get into.
So today we're going to be checking out some videos on some of the most horrendous auto loans that have been getting taken out over these last year, and also look at some solutions to it, because we don't want to just look at some people feel bad. We want to know how we don't have to do it ourselves. So with that being said, let's get into our first video today and look at how bad these interest rates really get.
What is the worst monthly payment and rate combination you've ever seen?
Yeah, it depends on Navigator. $112,000 Navigator with 10 grand in negatives, 12.9% in interest, $3,000 a month. What was it, like 50K in interest? Crazy money.
What's the worst monthly payment and rate combination you've ever seen?
Have to be $70,000 Ford F-150. He signed out 19.9% interest, and I believe he signed out at a $2,000 payment. I was flabbergasted.
Jillian, what is the worst monthly payment and rate that you've ever seen?
$2,500 a month with 6.7%.
What is the highest monthly payment and interest rate combination you've ever seen?
23 and a quarter here in Minnesota. It was on about a $15,000 Camry. Payment wasn't outrageous. It was maybe like $500, but the interest on that loan was almost as much as the car. I think it was about 12 or 13 grand on a $15,000 vehicle.
What is the worst interest rate and payment combination you have ever seen?
Oh, I think it was like a 2012 Equinox that was just totally clapped out for like 4 grand. They signed out at 23.5% for, I believe it was 36 months at $182 a month. The total amount of interest over the course of the loan, I think, was a little bit less than the actual price of the car. It's absolutely ridiculous. So what is the worst payment and rate combination you've ever seen?
24 Bronco Sport, 18% for 60 months, $700 monthly payment.
What is the worst monthly payment and rate combination you've ever seen?
$9,000 Kia Forte, 21% interest, and $415 a month.
17, 23%, 25% loans. Some of these cars are like used cars for $5,000 to $7,000, but the interest is so high that it literally doubles the price of the car after you pay off the loan. 23% interest was one of them for 36 months on a $7,000 or $8,000 car is disgusting. And the worst part about this is when you buy a new car, you drive it off the lot, right? You lose like what, 30-40% of the actual value immediately. Meaning if you try to sell it back to the lot immediately, they're going to take off 30 or 40% of the market value and buy that from you at that point and then sell for a little more, right? I get that. These examples were mostly used cars. So they've already lost that 40 or 50% value. They're buying them used, which means they're probably going to lose more value because they're going to get used again. And the interest rates make them cost like they're brand new. A $7,000 or $8,000 car ended up costing $22,000 simply because of the interest rate should be illegal.
When it comes to cars, it is one of the places that, financially speaking, it's kind of one of the dumbest debts you can get into from a financial perspective, because again, you're borrowing money and paying more on that borrowed money because of interest on an asset that's going down in value versus like a house, a mortgage, right? You take out a mortgage, you do pay interest on that loan, but the value of that home is going up at the same time. So the car itself is not a wise purchase to make when you don't have cash for it.
Now, I will say, in counterbalance, real estate this last like 12, 15 years has been questionable, especially in America, where you buy property, it goes up and down. Vietnam as well, it's going up and down. It's not very predictable. You might buy a house for $150,000, and with the loan and interest, ends up costing you $300,000, and then you can only sell for like $170,000. But her idea of buying a used car, which is a liability, it's not an asset. There's no potential chance you can really sell for more. Unless we're buying Bugattis and Lamborghinis, there's not really going to be a high return, and there's not going to be a means to take a Camry from a liability to an asset. So buying a used car with a high interest just seems like a double negative. If you really need to buy a car, the interest rate is kind of the break point. Getting a $700 or $800 payment for a used car, making it cost as much as a new car. We have one comment from Ken. The value of the increase in home almost never equals the interest you paid over 30 years in taxes. People that preach buy a home typically miss this point. And this is true. The money I made personally in real estate was because I flipped it. I was a real estate investor. I bought property. I had ghost ads. I had buyers. I had sellers. I bought a property. I spent some money. I flipped it. I typically did ARM rates just because the interest was so low up front, knowing I'm going to sell this house relatively quick. If you're buying a house on a 30-year loan with a median interest rate plus the property taxes and all that stuff associated, yeah, it might take you 60, 70 years to get that money back, which kind of begs the question, is buying a house in 2026 even worth it?
It's crazy to me. People are driving around with $700 car payments, and that payment doesn't include insurance. I always tell myself, when I get close to paying my car off, I'm gonna get a new one. I'm gonna trade it in, I'm gonna get a new one. And the moment I hit that last car payment, I said, no ma'am, I'm gonna drive this motherfucker to the engine fall out.
The thing that gets me are people that buy cars. They do these loans. They lease them even. We're going to talk about leasing here in a bit. But they buy a car, pay it off, and the first thing they do is trade it in to reset the payments, or they just refinance it, making their 3 to 5 year car loan last 10 years. And the ones that just trade it in after you pay it off to buy a new one, it feels like now we're just buying cars to fit in with the Joneses. And looking at some of the comments on here, anything over $300 is too much for a car payment. Like she said, $700 car payments for 3 years is crazy. How do you sustain that? And then after you pay it off, you refinance or buy a new car to reset that cycle. You're going to be working forever. From what I've read, the average car payment for an American right now is nearly $800. And finally, my sister pays nearly $900 a month for a car. It's a 2026 Honda. A Honda. Who's paying that much for a Honda? And you got to think, if it's $900 for a Honda, the interest rates got to be insane.
What is this car? 2013 Chevy Spark.
So I bought this car and I went to buy here, pay here place, October of 2022.
So what's the interest rate?
28%.
Oh,
Not my worst. Not my worst.
no, I saw 110 earlier.
Yes.
That doesn't mean 28% is good. What is owed on this car?
It's still without the principal balance on it is $12,000.
You paid off half?
With
in 2
the
years?
interest. So they
No,
only
what's the total owed?
Well, they won't tell me the total amount with the interest. When I go to make my payments on it, it shows as $12,000.
Okay, but not what's interest accrued on top of it?
Yeah, so
I'm seeing $13,000.
yeah,
Are you sure?
that it's that I bought it for $23,000. Yes, the loan was sold to a different company,
So we don't even know how this is paid. Okay.
and when it was sold to a different company, this is the amount it dropped down to:
What's your minimum monthly car payment?
$135 a week.
A week?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I haven't had one of those since like the third episode I ever recorded. I mean, I just heard one of them almost have just a financial orgasm back there because of how insane that is. That's insane. $540 a month.
And
Which again, is this you breaking it down by week is what makes it crazier. But that's how they make it digestible for you. What's the condition of the car?
it has no AC. So drive.
Well, I mean, it could just be recharged, maybe.
No, it needs a whole new thing.
Oh, sure.
So no AC. Has 130,000 miles on it.
Mm-hmm.
The car only lasts about 150,000 miles. So in probably about
What's
another
the
year or
condition
so,
of the car, though?
poor.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've taken that into account and got your valuation. What do you think this car's worth that you owe anywhere from $13,000 to $20,000 on?
Car, maybe it's worth $5,000.
This blew my mind, and I'm gonna blow my own mind out. $1,389, and you owe potentially $20,000. Lowest 13.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the most underwater, insane car.
Yes.
You're paying a third of the car's value in a monthly payment.
This is one of those moments we just kind of give a moment of silence. She has a car where she owes about $13,000 on it with a 28% interest rate, where it sounds like almost all her payments are going to interest. The AC doesn't work. The car's in bad condition. It's probably going to break in about 20,000 miles. And she still owes the entirety of the principal of the car. Who even accepts that? And the fact that they said a week, I guess it sounds better. Your weekly payment is $100 and X dollars, but maybe people don't comprehend like per month it's about $500. This is I didn't even know auto loans gave weekly payments. This sounds like a loan shark thing. This almost sounds as bad as leasing a car.
Honestly, I regret getting a novated lease, and no one warned me about this part. So my parents had one through their work and loved it, and everyone at my job was like, do it, it's such a good tax saving, you'll never look back. So I did. My car cost $36,000, and guess what? I'm paying $46,662 over 5 years. And then to keep my own car at the end that I've already paid for, I have to pay a $9,000 balloon payment to keep it. If I don't pay it, I literally have to hand the car back. Like, what the heck? I told myself that's future me's problem. Well, future me is now 2 years away and she's not okay. Looking back at my novated lease quote, it says I get an annual benefit of $2,248.
This is crazy. I know the idea of leasing a car makes sense if it's a car for work. I know people like Stradman and a lot of these other car YouTubers typically do leases on their cars because they can write and depreciate a lot of the actual costs of the car payments. But to lease a car as a personal entity and then be told that you need to do a balloon payment. So she bought it for about $34,000, had to pay $46,000 after everything's said and done. And then she has to pay about $56,000 to own a $36,000 car, including that balloon payment. This doesn't even make sense. So you're leasing a car, just like somebody would have a car payment. You complete the lease just like somebody completes a car payment. And then the bank's like, hey, you need to give us a third more if you want to keep this car or give it back to us. Thank you for your money. Why are people doing leases for personal cars? I never, ever heard that being an intelligent thing. Unless you're getting a car for some kind of work event or you're a YouTuber or you're using it for a construction job or something like that. Leasing typically doesn't have a benefit.
The biggest car payment trap nobody talks about, long loan terms. In 1963, the overwhelming majority of car loans were under 35 months and only 0.7% of car loans were over 36 months. Today, the average new car loan term is 69 months. That's basically 6 years. And over 22% of people are signing on for 7-year, 8-year, and 9-year loans on a depreciating asset. On a 36-month loan on a $40,000 car at an interest rate of 6%, your monthly payment is going to be $1,217 a month with $3,800 in total interest paid over the life of that loan. Take the same loan now and you stretch it out to 6 years, the monthly payment goes down to $773 a month. That's pretty nice, but the total interest you pay, $63.99 over the course of that loan. That's $25.91 more you're paying just to have a lower monthly payment, and banks love this because multiply that times millions of car owners. But what's worse is that longer car loans can actually keep you underwater.
That is crazy to take a long car loan. I've never really understood this. Though, going back to my college days, I bought an Acura Integra Type R. Beautiful car, loved it. And I ended up getting a 3-year loan on it. They wanted me to do a 5-year, which was lower payment, but I ended up doing the little higher interest rate, putting 25% down and just making the payments. And I remember every month, I was like, I want to get this month over. Because they give you that receipt, how much interest, how much principal. And I wanted to get it paid off as soon as possible. It annoyed me having that debt, knowing I didn't own my car, knowing that every month I had to pay this where like, I don't know, it was like 5 or 10% of the actual payment went to the bank. It didn't go to me. But now to see a lot of these bank loans, they look so attractive. Like, hey, like he showed in the video, do a 7-year loan. Instead of paying $1,200 a month, you only pay $733 a month. But the longevity of it is your interest goes up like 30-40% of the total cash payment. Me having to roll over a credit card payment drives me crazy. I couldn't imagine a 7 or 9-year car loan. And Scott in the comments section made a really good point about it. It's insane how long these terms can go these days. I've seen an 84-month loan option. It's crazy. When I was a kid, approved for 48 months was considered crazy. And it really is. Again, when I got my car, I was getting a 3-year loan. They wanted me to do 5. And I'm like, oh, like I was kind of petrified. I'm like, that sounds like a stupid idea. Well, your payments will be less. $28, come on. Nothing's free, nothing's like that. These long-term loans never work out in our favor.
An 84-month car loan? Why an 84-month car loan?
I want lower payments.
You know that's not how it works. You are paying more in interest over time. 2024 Kia Sportage. And it is $638.70. That's an insane car payment for 7 years.
I feel like 600
This
is a
is
normal car payment.
Normal?
Oh, I'm going to refinance it when rates go down.
Okay, if rates go down.
When rates go down, they will go down for sure.
What?
Yeah. If I can't refinance, then whatever. If I can, awesome.
Whatever. I have an 84-month loan. I'm going to be 40, and I finally paid off my car.
And?
The idea that she's betting on a 7-year loan and the interest rates are going to go down at some point is wild. And what if they don't? Her reply was, I will just refinance it at a lower rate. So she's going to turn a 7-year loan into a 10, 13, 15-year loan. And Guy said it best. You're going to be in your 40s and 50s still paying on a car you bought a decade ago. I understand for a house because you can leverage a mortgage to your benefit and reinvest it. But refinancing a car is resetting a loan and resetting the interest. This is a big part I don't think a lot of people understand is when you set up an auto loan, it's primarily focused on paying the interest before the principal until you get to like halfway through the loan, and then the principal becomes more of the payment. The bank wants its money first. So if you decide after a year to pay the car off in full, at least they got as much interest as possible. But when you run it out, a 7-year loan, do it for 5, refinance it for another 7. This is over a decade. And the bank's already got the interest. The principal never really went down. So you're resetting the original loan pretty much at the same value, and you're just resetting the interest payments. You should not be refinancing auto loans. And this does take us to our last video today, the credit score. Having a good credit score, does that really save a lot of people? Let's look into video number 8 where we talk about how a good credit score can sometimes be the problem.
What's the worst auto loan rate you've ever seen?
This individual came to me to refinance their loan. They had an interest rate of 28% with Santander, whatever you want to call them. We refinanced them at a 2.19%. Their credit was fine. Santander's just a predatory lender, and they took complete advantage of somebody's ignorance.
How often do you see predatory lenders taking advantage of people that have good credit?
All of the time, which is why having a good credit score is not enough. You have to be well versed and know why your credit score matters.
If somebody's with a lender right now and they want to get out of that deal and find a new one to finance, what do you suggest they do?
Try to shop your rate around within a 7-day period. Generally, you've got a 30 to 45-day window when those multiple inquiries for the same thing are only going to count basically as one inquiry, but the sooner you get all of these inquiries done, the better it's going to be for you in the long run.
This is an important one too. I love that. Get a second opinion. Just like if you go to a doctor and he says you got a disease, go to another doctor and just make sure. You should not be running into dealerships and doing these buy here, pay now programs. You should not be accepting 28% auto loans and then doing this whole, well, I'll just make the loan 7, 8 years instead so the payments are lower. Do your research. Talk to these lenders. Talk to your bank. I advise, my unprofessional advice, talk to a credit union. Credit unions typically offer really good rates. They're not going to price gouge you, and they're there for the community. They typically aren't trying to gouge you out like a public national bank or these dealerships that allow you to pretty much finance within the dealership, which is pretty much no different than Buy Me Now from PayPal's and these other situations where they pay for it for you and then they gouge you out with like a 35, 40% interest rate. Do your research. Talk to a few of these people. So there we go, 7-year loans. I honestly thought this was a joke. I started researching into this and I knew they were things. I knew this existed. I just didn't realize it was so mainstream where everybody's doing it to the point that they refinance into it. So maybe I'm getting old, maybe times are changing, but I'm going to tell you my old age, this is insane. 5 to 7 year loans and refinancing it. I have never heard such crazy stuff. So please educate my old self. Let me know in the comments below, what is the highest interest rate and payment and longevity you've seen on a loan that maybe you've done or you've heard about? How crazy is this getting? Are we going to see 12-year car loans here in the next couple of years? So make sure you subscribe, hit the like, leave a little comment below. Let me know what you thought about the video and let me know about that interest rate. I'm curious, how crazy is it really getting on the ground?